Hi, this is me again with the second part to the playing with the Ceccoli decks video, because the first one turned out to be much longer than I thought. So in this one I'm gonna talk about the Oracle while I sip some coffee, if you don't mind. So yeah, maybe let's start with the fact that I got two cards number 7, as you can see, and I didn't get the card number 12, which is a shame, but I contacted the Los Caribbean customer service and I actually received a message today from Jessica, who told me that they are basically sorry and they're gonna send me the missing card. So I gave them my address and I'm hoping to receive the missing card soon. Yeah, I'm really happy that it was so easy to resolve, because I would hate for it to turn into some kind of drama, or I don't know, having to return the deck or anything. Yeah, so anyway, this card number 7, the original title that was given by Nicoletta is Too Fragile. And what's interesting is that it looks like these two cards are actually connected, because fuck the glare, sorry for the glare, but anyway, it looks like it's the same girl, right? In this one she's kinda mourning her egg friend who died, and the flowers are also mourning, and in this one she's about to kill a bear. So I was thinking perhaps like this bear actually attacked this guy and killed him, so now she's like revenging her friend basically. But also what these two make me think of in terms of inner child work and generally the stuff that we have to deal with in childhood is like letting go of things, right? We've got two sides to this problem here in these cards. So in the first one, she has to let go of her friend, I don't know, perhaps a favorite mascot of some kind, favorite toy that she really loved and she didn't really want to get rid of, but it broke, so she has no choice. While here, well, the bear looks like he probably was used a lot too, because he's got like his eyes replaced with buttons and he looks really old, but here she's kind of more in control of this process. So here she didn't really have a say in this because the toy broke, but here perhaps she's I don't know, decluttering her old toys, or was asked by the parents to like donate some toys. I don't know, really, there could be a lot of interpretations, but anyway, this is what these two made me think of, the process of letting go as a child. As we all probably know, it can sometimes be difficult. Yeah, so there's that. Then we've got this card. The original title given by Nicoletta is Material Girls. And that's actually what this made me think of when I first saw it. Like, you know, there is this kind of children that are not very empathic in a way, so they sometimes do damage and don't realize it. Like they damage someone else's things, for example, or do something that's irresponsible, and that's totally okay when you're a child, right? You can't be expected to like know everything already because you're a child, so these could be thought of in two ways, right? The shadow side, where you have children who damage others. Like this gingerbread guy is obviously not happy with what's happening to him. but also just the innocent side where you sometimes fuck up as a child and you don't even know it until it's done. So there's that. Then the next card. These are not in order, by the way, if you haven't noticed already. This one's original title is All You Need Is Love. And it kinda makes me think of, you know, this moment in life. Because she's obviously not just a child, like, if you look up close, wait, I'm gonna focus on, yeah, I hope you can see it, but she's like, she got boobs and all, so she's definitely not a very young child, more like a teenager. Anyway, this kind of makes me of this moment in life when you first start discovering, I guess, that you can have romantic relationships with others, and you just wait for stuff to happen, you just sit there, look pretty, I guess. And she's like just, she lost her shoe, the shoe is flying off here. Makes me think like she's pretending that she lost it accidentally, but it's actually on purpose for someone to pick it up and put it back on her leg, and that's gonna be like her first boyfriend. I don't know. Yeah, it's funny, honestly. Anyway, the next one, 24. I don't know, I couldn't find what's the original title for this one, but this kind of makes me think of exaggerating things, because if you look up close, you notice that she's holding the exact same bear that's... Oops, that was my camera. She's holding the exact same bear that's like super huge here and entering her room, and she's obviously scared of him. So that makes me think of exaggerating emotions and just having a hard time coping with them, really. Yeah, so at one hand she's hugging the bear because it represents some kind of safety, something she knows. But at the other hand, when the bear is huge, it's actually suddenly overwhelming to her. So the safety is suddenly overwhelming to her. That kind of makes me think of the kind of parenting that's popular these days, when parents just are overprotective of the kids, and it's not really doing them any good, but the opposite. They just feel trapped. Yeah. This one is cute. What it makes me think of is the amazing active imagination that children have. Like, she's reading a book and I'm thinking that the huge rabbit that's peeping through the window, by the way, the original title is Peeping Tom. So the rabbit's name is Tom. So he like came to life because she read about him, so he came to life in her imagination. This one kind of makes me think of isolation, but being again isolated because of having everything, like getting all the amazing stuff from your parents, the material stuff, but they just give her the stuff, but they're not actually present in her life because they're focused on their career and shit. You can see this very often these days. Yeah, I actually in my work I often encounter children who are just, they have all the newest iPhones and shit, but the parents are busy making money, so that's kind of sad. Some things are just irreplaceable. Irreplaceable. Yeah, that's what I mean. This one, she has these blooms and they are kinda covering her ears. So this kind of makes me think of, again, I don't know, this is a theme, I guess, for this deck today for me. Like being overprotective with your child, covering their ears with pretty stuff, with cute stuff, and not allowing them to hear or see the ugly side of life. So then they kind of grow up to be, I guess, surprised and disillusioned with reality. This one just looks like a girl who's really thinking through some shit. It reminds me of myself when I was like 12 and started writing poetry for the first time in my life. And I thought I was so fucking deep and mature and all that. So yeah, that's how I saw myself back then. I'm laughing about it now, but like, make no mistake, I'm not actually trying to ridicule children's first existential awakenings, I guess. Because that's some serious shit, and they usually need help with that, not being laughed at. And then we've got these two, and again they're kind of similar, because in both we've got the princess trapped in the castle, right? And in this one we've got the princess, and the prince is down there, and he's fighting this lizard dragon, whatever, to free her, but looks like she's not really that interested. Because yeah, she's more absorbed with this triangle thing, and she looks like she doesn't really mind being where she is right now. And then at the other hand, we've got this, on this picture, there's the prince down there, and there she kind of looks like she actually wants to be saved in this one. So there's a shift in approach, I guess, or in interests. So whereas here she was just, I guess, enjoying herself, here she wants to see the outside world. It's a time for her to be saved and experience what's outside. Then we've got this one. I don't really know what to think about this one. Doesn't really spark too much. Maybe let's see what they say in the book about this one. I don't have the original title for this one either, so that's not helpful. So this one is rescue. Help is on the way. You may not have consciously called for it, but nevertheless the universe is sending you some assistance. I don't know, I honestly don't see that in this card, so maybe let's skip this one. Here we've got the learning how to take care of others, learning empathy. Yeah. This one is really interesting because rabbits or hares are usually a symbol of fertility, so she's kind of just riding her passion. Here we've got a girl riding a, I don't know, snow giraffe or something. Doesn't spark too much in me, to be honest. This one is interesting though, and it kind of makes me think of taking care of your masculine part of your psyche, of your animus. Like, the guy is asleep and he's just chilling there. And why it kind of made me think of that is because there's another card. Yeah, this one. And in this one, the guy is running away. And this kind of makes me think of the anima possession, actually. When the feminine part of your personality, or of your unconscious psyche, more precisely, just takes over and just wants to destroy everything that's masculine. That's the shadow of the feminine, and actually we kind of see a lot of that in present times in various forms. But yeah, these two just kind of create an interesting contrast. Then the controversial one. I don't have a title, the original title for this one anyway, but to me this one is, as many people already mentioned, it's just about discovering your body. There's nothing shameful about that. Every child does it. Like, children look at their, like, what they've got between their legs, and they start doing it at a fairly young age. And there's really nothing perverse about it. And it shouldn't be thought of as such. So, yeah. Then we've got this one, and she kind of just makes me... I don't know, I think of her as some kind of a drama queen. Like, she obviously set up this game because she's dressed in this pattern. So she's part of this whole environment, like it comes from her. And she's watching the two knights fighting, probably to, like, whichever one of them wins her. And this is also part of the exploration of love, of relationships, of sexuality at a young age. Probably not as a young age as the previous one, but like when you're a teenager, girls often just want to see guys fighting between each other to win them, so sort of, yeah. That's I think common theme. I don't have much to say about this one, other than I don't understand why this one would be controversial either, but I know it is. But honestly, like, breastfeeding is fucking awesome, and I don't see why anyone would have a problem with this. I don't think she's like a child, obviously, because young girls don't lactate. Unless we're talking about some, like, girl getting pregnant in early teenage years, which sometimes also happens. But yeah, anyway, there's that. Now this one, I believe the original title is Isis, which I found interesting, but I'm not gonna get into this one too much. Now this one is similarly to the Empress from the Tarot deck. Just kind of makes me think of being at peace with nature, exploring nature, and discovering that you're a part of it, not separate from it. And that you can live in harmony with other beings, not just humans. This one, what it makes me think of is when you're a child and you, like, first start noticing various signs of love and affection between adults, like your parents kissing, for example, and you start hearing all those stories about how children are actually made. You're often astounded. Like, how do they do it? Why are they not ashamed of getting naked with each other or doing some weird stuff with their bodies? Like, this is the first realization that you also have a naked body, and kind of indecisive what to do about this fact. Like, you just have to come to terms with it, I guess, and it usually takes years. And it's good that it takes years, right? Because, yeah, it's just natural this way. And this one, I really love this one, honestly. And this one makes me think of masturbation, actually, self-pleasure. And when you first discover it, I don't know, for me personally, I discovered self-pleasure when I was about 12 years old. And back then, like, this was a huge taboo. I grew up in a small village where obviously everyone was Catholic, because in Poland still, like, almost everyone is Catholic. So whenever self-pleasure was talked about, it was talked about as something that's evil, that's sinful, that's really, like, dirty and stains your soul for eternity and shit like that. So I remember, like, back then, religion lessons, which religion meant Catholic religion lessons, were mandatory. Like, I heard that one of those lessons about masturbation and how it's a sin, I suddenly realized how fucked up I am as a human, and why did I even do it? I felt so unholy, I guess. It fucked me up for years, I remember. So yeah, this is what this makes me think of. I have 6 minutes left, by the way. I'm intending to make this video shorter, so yeah, hope this works. Anyway, this one doesn't make me think about too much right now, so I'm just gonna skip this one. And this kind of makes me think of being this kind of girl that's dominating the boys' environment, so to speak. Like, she obviously dominated this ice cream guy, and at one hand he looks like he's really stressed about what's gonna happen next, but he's also smiling, so it's kind of these funny games of power between the sexes when you grow up. And this one makes me think of the time when you kind of start discovering that you might actually be an object of, I guess, sexual thoughts, sexual desire for others. And you kind of want to explore it, right? She has the mirror here. It really makes me think of, like, I don't know. I know what she did with this mirror before this whole scene happened, I guess. At least in my mind, so yeah. And the original title for this one, by the way, is He Brought Her Red Berries. But the berries are not spelled like B-E, but B-U, right? So, like, burying, that's interesting. Anyway. And this one, also, the original one, in the original she had this halo above the crown, but here it seems like it was deleted for some reason. And the title of this one is Dulcis Agata. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly. And I think Veronica Jude mentioned it in her video that it's actually connected to Saint Agatha and her kind of story, but I don't know that story, so I'm not gonna go into detail with this one. This one, similarly to the Two of Cups from the Ceccoli Tarot, just makes me think of self-love, but also of friendship, because there's two girls with one heart holding hands, and these first friendships that you think that they're gonna last forever, but they rarely ever do, which is sad. Yeah, I also experienced this in mostly in my teenage years, but also in adulthood, surprisingly. And it always hurts the same when you suddenly realize that the heart is not just one common heart for you both. You might seem like you're some kind of soulmates or whatever, but it eventually splits. Yeah, so that's what this makes me think of. Then this one kind of makes me think of, you know, like we've got all these metaphors for growing up and maturing, blooming, right? But there's also deflowering, and I feel like she knows that it's about time, and these guys, they're just waiting for the right moment to extract the pollen or the nectar from her flower. And it's bittersweet, actually, depending on how you look at this. And then the last one I have here, wait, I'm gonna find the one with the rabbit where she was reading a book. Hope I'm gonna make it in time. Oh yeah, this one. Yeah, no, it's not the same girl. She's got a different haircut and all. But anyway, this again makes me think of active imagination and how it can sometimes take over. While here, she's reading the book and kind of making this rabbit alive in her imagination. Imagination can also teach you things or make you learn things on its own. Like, you don't have to provoke it kind of to do its thing. It sometimes can happen spontaneously, things popping up from the unconscious, etc. So yeah, that's what this one makes me think of. So yeah, it's about time. Got 50 seconds left, so yeah, this was the Ceccoli Oracle. Really looking forward to first receive the card that I'm missing, and then to work with this one for inner child work as well. So yeah, that's it for my Ceccoli decks. Hope you enjoyed this little personal walkthrough. Yeah, and hope to see you soon. Bye bye!